time, we will be honoring some of the founding families of Cedar Grove. Now, just because they're the founding families doesn't mean they're 140 years old or so. Most of these people are just young people. So we're very happy to have them all here this evening. Special thanks to the families that are participating this year. This year we have the DeSmit family. DeSmit means the blacksmith. So it means a lot of Dutch names are descriptive of their task. The Voskuils mean the den of the fox. I think on Dean Voskuil's truck, if you see it driving around, it says Fox Den Kennels on it. And that's what that name means. Voskuil means Fox Den. Meerdink, I'm not sure. Oh, you got one? Oh, Meerdink means lake people. Meer is lake. Like the IJsselmeer is a lake in Holland. It used to be called the Zuiderzee when it was open to the ocean. Now it's lake people. How appropriate. Because Aunt Audrey, Meerdink Audrey, Harmelink Meerdink Audrey, lives on the lake. Okay, so those are our three honored families. By way of a little background, America is a land of immigrants. All of us better love immigrants because that's all of us. We all came here from somewhere. And in the Dutch community, the immigrants came in three main waves. In about 1609, Henry Hudson, who was hired by a Dutchman to explore on their behalf, founded and explored New York City and northern New Jersey. Do we have any people of Dutch extraction here today from northern New Jersey? Oh, there he is. My son happens to live in northern New Jersey. How special. We also have New York people, and from that first wave of Dutch immigration, we have some very famous Americans. President Martin van Buren was a Dutchman. Van Buren spoke Dutch as his primary language until he got into politics. Then there were two other very famous, one a Republican, one a Democrat. Teddy Roosevelt descended from that initial group, and Franklin Roosevelt. So there are others, but those are three of the more famous. Then, in the 1847-1848 era, is the second great wave of Dutch immigration to the United States. And people at that time left Holland for a number of reasons. One of them was economic. There had been some crop failures across Europe. A second reason was religious and theological. There were secessions within the Dutch Reformed Church, and some of the seceders who were trying to uphold biblical truth were persecuted and took parts of their flock to the United States. Some things don't change. And that was the 1847-1848 immigrants, and that is where most of our people who are townies in this area, that's where many of our ancestors came from. There were, of course, other immigrants who came at other times, but that was the second main wave, and that's the people we'll be talking about today. The third main wave came after World War II, with all the upheaval in the Netherlands, once again, the occupation and so forth, and people moving for economic opportunity, but also, again, for concern about the nature of the church. And a lot of those people went to Canada. Are there any Canadian immigrants here today? Stand up, please. Do we see anybody? Raise your hand, sister-in-law. That short girl over there, she went to, her family emigrated to Canada from the Netherlands right after World War II. And so a lot of those folks are in Canada, also Western Michigan, Northwest Iowa, Sheboygan. My friend George Riemersma, who recently passed away, and the Fire family, those folks were all from that wave of immigration. Now today, we want to especially recognize the people who emigrated to this area. And just one little event in our history that is very seminal was the disaster on the Phoenix. The Phoenix was a coastal boat that traversed the Great Lakes, and it was bringing a host of Dutch immigrants to this area. In the crowd here today, we have Mary Rousseau. Mary, could you stand up, please? Where are you? Wave at me. Mary is over here, and Mary is working with a group in the Netherlands who want to establish a Phoenix Memorial. which I think is pretty cool. So Mary has information if you'd like to see her later. There she is. She's Ali Rassou's first cousin. She's very reliable, and I think you could talk to her. So there she is over there, but that's the lady who's working along with the Dutch people to establish the Phoenix Memorial. And now, without further ado, I would like to call forward Gretchen Leitner. Gretchen is a representative of the De Smith family, and she's going to say a few words. And if my able assistant, Carol Merrill, she's actually Lynn Voskuil. Lynn is also a double bubble because she's half Meerdink and half Voskuil. So she's here, and she's going to help me. Lynn, could you come forward with the big thing first, and then the one that says De Smith? Okay, come on in. Oh, come on in. First of all, this plaque is going to be found in the Turundi House, I believe it is, and we're really excited about that. Each year we'll be having new names added to that plaque. All right, and then we have a small one. If you would go get the De Smith plaque. Okay, and here we have a very deserving representative. This is Ralph De Smith's daughter, and many of you remember Ralph and Shirley De Smith's daughter. Ralph has passed away. Shirley's here with us today. Wave, Shirley. And Ralph, perhaps more than any other person, in my opinion,